Hello and welcome to another episode of They've Been Doing It All Day, Sir. Foreigners at the wheel, how good does it feel? Let's get stuck in.
I like it. Foreigners certainly at the wheel, But how's your week been?
Yeah, it's been really good, mate. Went out for a lovely dinner on Saturday. I mean, the half went to Bessie and Alma's in Surrey Hills.
Fancy?
Yeah, food was ridiculous. It was so good. Went to this nice little wine bar as well beforehand. It was like $8 for a house glass of red and $6 for a Peroni red bottle. I was like, I could get used to this.
In Surrey Hills, that's pretty good.
Surrey Hills, I know, it was a good deal. I had a lovely meal, great ambience. Had the first league game of the season as well for the league. Unfortunately, lost. They just adjusted quite well defensively. We've got a bit to work on, but it was positive signs were shown.
If you had to say what you looked like in comparison to an NRL team, like ranking them where they were, what sort of start to the season do you reckon it was?
Manly.
Oh, right, there we go. It's not a great start to the season.
Just to keep it, but it's definitely not the coaches this time.
Yeah.
No. Honestly, I think there just needs to be we had 20 minutes worth of competitive pre-season, so it's just finding the feet. There's a lot of talent amongst the team, so it'll all come good, and against a team who were in the league above final last year, so
not bad.
No, so it's positive signs. I'm always quite positive when we're coaching, but yeah, that's me. What about yourself?
Well, today's been a shit show already.
Yeah, I know.
We I forgot the bloody what's it called? I can't even remember the name of the
hard
thing.
drive.
Hard drive. That's what it is. Had to go back and get that. So that was already a bit of a disruption to the start. But yeah, I suppose big news was I bought a house the other day.
I know. Big news.
Just the one that you casually drop. Yep. So first time.
Man's now in a lot of debt.
I know, super amount of debt, but like it's just stress now for the rest of my life of how am I going to pay this mortgage. But positive place to be in. So
yeah, of course it is.
In a couple of weeks' time, the old set might change again.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Trying to think about how we can spruce up the background. I've got this like clothes rail that we can just hang jerseys off or something to start off with.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out. But other than that, pretty quiet weekend. Really didn't get up to much. Just stressing over getting mortgages sorted.
Yeah.
And all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's been a good one. But Thursday night, we went down. Thursday night it wasn't. It was Friday night. It quite feels like forever ago. We went down to the Gong. That was a good one. We'll talk about a bit about the game in a bit. But what were your thoughts of Wynn Stadium?
It's a rogue stadium. I think it's a bit family friendly, family orientated. Where we were supposed to sit, I don't know how that can be given. Like we were. So if you ever watch it on the TV, it's that little stand right by the hill.
Yeah.
And you're literally facing the other way, and you have to turn your neck just to look at any action. It's very valid.
You're looking at the other stand behind the goal. There's no green grass in front of you.
Nah, you have to turn your neck to watch that. And we were like, nah, not dealing with this. So we went and stood on the hill. But no, it's another one I ticked off.
It is. I felt like there was. I don't know. It felt like there was more Manly fans than there were Dragon fans.
The Manly fans turned up in numbers, which has not always been the case when we've been away. I remember when we went to Parramatta last year, we were very much surrounded. So yeah, it was good. It was good. What about yourself?
I think the location does it a better justice than. I mean, to be fair, that big stand opposite you don't see on TV. So like when you're on the hill and you're getting to see it, it's like, oh, it's not a bad stadium, but the scoreboard, I think, was one thing I mentioned. It's not the best stadium for fan interaction or fan experience. Like, don't get me wrong, you got the hill, but the queue for the bar was an absolute joke. Yeah. And then, the screen was tucked away in the corner, in which it looked like it was driven in on the back of a truck, I think.
I think it was.
And the scoreboards were minute. It's difficult to see what tackle it was, all that sort of stuff. So, like you say, ticked one off. That's another one in Sydney that we've ticked, or just outside Sydney. I think we're going to try and get along to Shark Park and compare that in a couple of weeks.
I would go back though.
Yeah, I would. I would
go back.
Parking was easy enough around.
It was.
It was easy enough to walk down, and we absolutely destroyed
a McDonald's on the way home.
A McDonald's on the way home.
That was disgusting.
So, yeah, it was. I texted you, I say I feel like I've woken up with a hangover.
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
absolutely ridiculous.
So much salt. So much salt.
Crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But a few controversies this week.
Yes.
Or the big one being the Disruptor rule. A few incidents this week. DCE booted one up. Robert Toyer contested against Stone Street.
Yep.
They're both like he's traveling at full speed, jumping for the ball, but apparently slightly contacted his arm, and it was a disruptor call. And then in the Broncos Cowboys game, which we were actually listening to on the way home, and I remember hearing this on the radio and them saying like, "This is ridiculous." When Shibasaki jumped up, and I've watched it back, and he kind of like takes his eye off of him for a second. It's like he's looking and then just goes, "Ah." And then he didn't even touch him and he got called for a disruptor. I don't know what to make of this rule. Like I know Anazi's come out and said those two calls were incorrect, but how are you meant to contest for a ball nowadays?
I was just about to say, how are you supposed to do it cleanly? Because it's also a case of Shibasaki was called for, even though he didn't touch him, but his actions disrupted him. And it's like, what do you mean? Just being in his presence was enough to distract him. It's
Is it like going
faking?
Boo,
yeah, I don't know.
When they go to catch it,
or when you're faking to jump a contest and you're going, "Oh, actually, I'm not going to jump." Is that not allowed? It's ridiculous.
Do you know? Interestingly, I remember last year. I can't remember what game it was, but in one of the games, it might have even been a Manly game. I can't remember. An ex-teammate was on the other team and they shouted for the ball, even they're in the line, and they threw it and they intercepted it. Surely that's a disruptor as well. Like by shouting for the ball if you're on the other team, it's similar to disrupting you playing the ball. I just think it's a joke of a rule.
Yeah.
The one thing they have cleared up though is that the one-handed knockback isn't actually a thing. It's only if you can if you go up with one hand and you get the ball, that's fine. But if you jump and you just make contact and blow them out the way to get it, then it's not. But it just... Are we going to see the similar sort of thing that we do with every rule tweak, every rule change, that after 6 weeks they notice that they're
doing the wrong thing?
Yeah, doing wrong. And the next thing you know, it's absolute anything goes.
The annoying thing is, though, is they're slowing it down frame by frame.
Yeah.
They're looking for a reason to incorporate it. So it's just... You're gonna find fault, especially when things slow down. And there was one thing that I can't remember which try it was, or there was a no try, and Ashley Kine went straight up to the bunker, even though he knew it wasn't a try. But he went up to the bunker, and the bunker spotted a penalty, which I think is just starting to get ridiculous, because that wasn't the reason why it was gone up, and they're looking to call penalties now. Yeah, which is starting to get a little frustrating.
I think if you challenge something, I suppose that was on a try scoring play or like no try, but they had to review it. Something else has been picked up, but it links back to the Mitchell Moses one the week before, I think, where he challenged I can't remember what. Oh no, he did challenge the high contact, but you're not meant to be able to challenge those sort of things.
Well, Tedesco, I'm sure at Manly, challenged something, and then it was
the push in the when Olakuatu went up. But I just feel that now there's going to be fair contests to the ball. I feel like we're going to see more being able to go up. The clarification around the one hand, no one's going to be like, "Oh, I've got to jump up with two hands now." So it'll be hopefully a bit more free flow and a bit more like it's a contact sport at the end of the day.
Yeah,
like two people jumping for the ball are going to be in contact with each other.
Yeah, but I think it's about defenselessness, isn't it? It's like in American football. When you're defenseless, it's contact, but if a wing is going up in the air, eyes on the ball, feet nowhere near, any sort of touch can result in quite a serious injury.
Yeah, true.
But it'll be see how it's ironed out and dealt with over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, let's get into reviewing round 6. One thing I will say about every single game this week, it seemed like there was something that happened, or like every game was somewhat entertaining. And I think last week we were talking about how the Panthers were somewhat unstoppable, or were on a tear, I think was the name of the episode last week.
Yeah.
And they got turned over by the Bulldogs.
Oh, massively. And the Bulldogs were just flying out. They were so fat in everything they did. The pace they did everything out there. Their defensive line just shut down the Panthers.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, the Panthers didn't have the best of games. They were trying to force too much at times.
Yeah.
You could see trying to make a try assist every pass, and it's like they were overcomplicating things when instead of just sort of steadying the ship. But you've got to hand it to the Bulldogs. Kickow who has been missing all season.
Yeah,
had his best game of the best game of the season so far, and proved why he is a formidable second rower.
Yeah, and one thing that worked well was the talking of second rows, Jacob Preston, the old short inside ball, which
it's all they do.
It's all they do, and it never works. But this time it worked. And Lockie Galvin had a good game, like he's getting his plaudits with the pundits as well. In that it takes. Was it someone said it takes 50 NRL games or something to
he's got a long way to go ahead of him, and I think the Bulldogs very much see him as a franchise player, so to speak, and he'll be there for years to come. So he's gonna have inconsistent seasons. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be natural if he's balling week in, week out.
Yeah.
He's 19, 20 years old. Like he's got another at least 10 years ahead of him to develop in his game. But yeah, Panthers just, I don't think it's a sign of struggle at all and in that sense, but it can show when you're a top team and you don't turn up what can happen to you.
It does, but a couple of things are guaranteed in life at the moment. That's death, taxes, and Milky Jenkins scoring doubles in games. So it seems like he's on for breaking the record of 30 in a season. He's got, 14 so far? So he's almost halfway there, and we're 6 games in, which is
I know. It's incredible. But again, is that just because of the product of the system?
Yeah, I mentioned about this before. Like he went to the Knights and wasn't great, and then comes back to the Panthers and absolutely kills it. But I did read that the salary cap is tight for next year, and they won't be able to offer him what he's worth. So he could be looking to go elsewhere. But one way that they can solve that is the talk of Nathan Cleary testing the open market on November 1, and he's apparently been offered £1 million, which in today's current conversions is $1.9 million a year to go to Hull. Is it Hull?
Yeah, it's wild that sort of money's coming out, and I don't get how Hull are going to be able to afford it, because they don't turn over that much money in a season.
The Super League does not turn over that much money.
The NRL are trying to force the buy of the Super League, and there's going to be some sort of money coming in from that to help the club, but. Yeah, that could be a huge one. But to go of all places, I know my mate at work, he's massive Hull FC fan. But Hull, I don't understand it, but we'll see how that pans out.
We will. So I reckon he just wants to be closer to Mary.
Yeah. Needs to have a massive state of origin though. Yeah. If this is his last season, it
is indeed. But let's go down to the gong. Let's talk about. Let's talk about the resurgent Manly Seagulls. Watching this game, like we get out to a flying start, we go 16-0 up, and you're like, this is going to be. I think I actually turned around and said to you at one point, "What's the record score in the NRL?"
Got a bit ahead of yourself there.
Got a bit ahead of myself, but it felt like the referee wanted to even the game up.
Yeah, I think that with the maroon tinted glasses on, definitely 100%. Like last week against the Dolphins, you could say he was rather kind to us. Whereas this week, it did look like he was trying to even it out. But again, it was just played for 20 minutes and then just stopped. And then we've reverted back to the old trying to play it out with the backs. Forwards look knackered. As soon as we lose Jake, defensively, we look all over the place. I think
it was a combination of losing. So obviously Jake went off with his eye, but also at the same time, around a similar time, Paseka goes off, Hetherington comes off, and then you get Corey Waddell come on at prop, and you get Leafi come on as well. So we're talking about someone that's been a bit of a defensive liability this season, and then someone that is completely a rookie in the NRL.
He just
hits everything that moves.
He tries to hit everything that moves, but unfortunately, like it's incredible to watch. Don't get me wrong, but he'll need to learn to settle down and show he can't do everything. It's like, yes, we know you're trying to get your moment here, but you're an incredible player. You can see that. So just settle down. I did see at one point, I think when they went over for one of the tries, Fogarty was giving him a bit of an earful. I don't know what that was around, or whether it was just a bit of a motivational. But Dragons just look... They look like they should be so much more threatening than they are.
Do you know, they remind me of, and it's only because I can got the picture in my head of Christian Romero crying. They remind me of Tottenham Hotspurs at the moment. They remind just a team that is...
got good players,
but lacking just knowing what to do, confidence. Like they came back into the game.
Yeah.
A few Ola Kawatu switches off. I don't know whether the referee I was having a word with him and didn't allow him to line up again, and then I can't remember who it was, goes over.
Yeah.
And then set 2 scores on the sideline. It seems like he slide tackled Tom Trebojevic and then gets back up. And that puts them ahead and you think, oh no, here we go again. But look, dug deep, managed to get ourselves out of the situation. Good to see Kobe Hetherington get his first try for the club, straight under the post, and then just taking advantage. I know it was the try before, but the kickoff return was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
you very rarely see a...
But it's 2 games now this season they've scored straight off the kickoff.
Yeah.
So that's, well, the Roosters one was one pass, but I think it's highlighting how solid our left edges as well. With Ben, you've got Ben, you've got Kola, and you've got Hopewate. Like Kola's pass to Hopewate. Do you know what? I've seen a lot more forward passes being called flat.
It was flat. It was fine.
So that's one of the weird ones. Look, also the Dragons had a couple of tries disallowed. So this is the thing. They've got it in them. And I don't know what Dragons fans think of Shane Flanagan as their coach or it is the players, but I think from how the players are coming out and saying it is them, like we're just not clicking, it seems a little bit more different to how Manly were coming out.
I don't know though, like a lot of them are moving on. Like a few players have agreed now to leave in 27. There's people wanting exits from the club. I saw Pacific, is his name Pacific Tonga? I think his name is. Like he's the young guy. He's off, wants to leave. One of their wingers, forwards. But then they got Kalama Matangi coming in next year. So it'd be interesting to see how that all goes. Jake's eye looked pretty bad.
Yeah. He's been named this week.
Yeah. Like you're worried, it split open, didn't it? And then you're worried that it's going to been fractured, but no fracture. And he's been named. So be interesting to see how he goes this week. But tough one for Manly up against the Cowboys, who, what a segue, put up 35 points against
the Broncos.
When this is the one we listened to on the way home, and I said, that's a bit of an odd scoreline to finish, 31-35, obviously the 2 drop goals, and it's the first time that score has ever been recorded in an NRL fixture. So 31-35, Cowboys on an absolute hot run at the moment.
They've just turned their season around massively.
They have.
Considering the first couple of weeks ago, we were saying that they were certain for us in the spoon race. But they just look class. They're just, again, they're just like one of them teams that just are just able to just churn away and just never look defeated. Like the Broncos just were pounding the pressure, and but from what it sounded like as well, it was just constant end to end.
Yeah. One thing that helps the Cowboys is Jason Taumalolo's found some form, which hasn't been happening over the last few years. So having a big boy up front, and looking forward to next week already. Like I'm concerned about his size and his devastating ability playing them against our Manly forward pack.
It's like when we ever play at Parramatta, Paolo or Junior Paolo always has a day, like and because of his size and whatnot. So that we'll discuss in a little bit. But you know what? For a team that lost a good majority of their spine, you can't diss the Broncos.
You didn't, and that's the thing that I was going to say is a saving grace for Manly coming up against the Cowboys this week. They're a Broncos team that were depleted. Like they have lost their spine, and although Tom Duffy came, or Chester? Who was it who came? Chester, Tom Chester, not Duffy. He was an ex-Cowboy, come in, performed well, and they interviewed him after the game on Triple M, and like he was proud of his performance, obviously on the losing side.
It was Tom Duffy.
Oh, Duffy. So they have got that backup now of if things go not because I don't get this. Reynolds has been named this week. He's a ticking time bomb when it comes to injury, hamstring, groin, whatever it is. So old Duffy needs to be warming his boots up because he could be a regular in the side. But that's the only saving grace for Manly this week, I think, is that the Cowboys were coming up against a depleted Broncos squad. The old Perth doubleheader had some drama.
Yes, it did. And it did. And my boys...
Out for a while.
Gutted. Absolutely gutted for
4 to 6, they reckon, that they 4 to 6 weeks, I think it is.
Devastated. He was just coming into some great form as well.
He was. He just appeared on the old Matty John's footy show as well. And they were like gassing him up, talking about how well he's doing. And then bang.
Yeah.
It was a nasty, like 2 people on top of him, just point of the shoulder into the floor. You could tell it hurt him straight away. And then like from that, they had to reshuffle. I think they lost a bit of their shape and just Raiders are just finding their way through, and Hudson Young decided to turn up.
K Weeks turned up as well, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Yeah. Just did you see his little fake pass to him, fake dummy pass to himself, and then just took off? It's like everyone bit on it. Everyone just bit on the fake to himself, and he just cuts off down the middle. Rabbitohs came, what was it, 20-something 6 at half time or 4 at half time?
Yeah, they came back. It was 24-4 at half time. They came out absolutely swinging. And again, like that left edge of the Rabbitohs, Cody Walker going over a couple of times, and Latrell going over again, Alex Johnston, and Johnston's, it's Johnston.
Yeah.
Like, they're a team there or thereabout, but they're just constantly running into this adversity.
Fafita's out now.
Yeah,
he's out for 6 weeks.
So they've lost Fafita and Jai Gray, who have been 2 starlets of their start. So it'll be sort of see how they can then come for this. Raiders, is this a kickstart to their season, or is this going to be very much how their season is with sort of ups and downs? And look, at the end of the day, Rabbitohs lost their fullback quite early, had to reshuffle, and the Raiders only won you by 2 points. They still have to look at themselves defensively, in my opinion, as well.
Well, they've got a tough one up next, but is it a tough one? Because they're playing the Melbourne Storm, who got absolutely turned over by the Warriors. Like, the Warriors were something else in the game. Their physicalness was off the chart. Their forward pack was ridiculous. And what sums it up was Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's. He walloped him. Like, Will brought Warbrick's through. You think he scored, and he flies over from centre and he just absolutely smashes him. And I think that it just summarises the performance from the Warriors. They were so dominant. They were physical. They're running the ball hard up front. Storm had a fair few amount of errors in them, in which old Bellamy was chewing out Chan on the sideline, I think at half time. That's 4 straight losses for the Storm.
Huge. Like, that is huge for them. And they look so far away from the normal Storm that they normally are. Like, they're making these errors. They just look not confused, but just so out of sorts. Losing a lot of their like big players as well. Like, how much is actually losing Pappenhausen out the back been in that sense? How much of an impact did he actually have within that team? Defensively, again, they're just looking so far away from it.
They are. They obviously lost Big Nelson. Big body in the middle. Like, I know he's a bit of a liability, right? Like, he came on and he gave away a fair amount of penalties, but he's still a huge physical body in the middle, which slows things down. They've lost Xavier Coates, injury, Achilles injury, at least he's coming back. Like, they've got someone's come back, but I think their biggest loss by a mile is Eli Carter. Like, his effort level, his hustle, his ability under the high ball, I think he is their biggest loss. And at the start of the season, I think I tipped them to finish 7th in the table. Feeling a bit smug right now that could be a possibility, but it's just because of those losses, I didn't think they'd be able to bounce back. I didn't expect them to perform this badly or poorly at the start of the season. Don't get me wrong, they've got loads of time to turn it around, but worrying times, especially at home as well, like getting absolutely turned over at home.
They're flat track bullies, I know more.
They are. The other game that happened over at the Optus in Perth, this one got the better attendance out of the 2 games because it was the later game, but the Roosters 34 beating the Sharks 22. I thought the Sharks were storming away with this at one point.
Yeah, and they absolutely, again, it's just a bit of a theme of this week. Teams coming out of the traps, but just not being able to sort of withstand it. They were 3 tries up within the first 25 minutes, and then Heinze goes missing.
He did.
And this is something that we've said constantly, and it's not a hidden opinion out in the world either. It's Sharks depend on having consistency within their halves, and Nico Heinze is arguably one of the most inconsistent.
Yeah, and
you see it from them as a team. They have their peaks of being absolutely world class, like last week, and then this where they've continued on from that and then gone,
yeah.
Everything sort of stops.
So they took their foot off the brake. I don't know, took their foot off the brake, put their foot on the brake, whatever the saying is at half time. Took their foot off the gas. Whatever I'm trying to say. They got ahead of themselves maybe at half time, and then the Roosters just came out in the second half and
Teddy with a day.
Yeah, big DCE as well gets his 100th try. I don't know if you saw their Instagram post, but it was like the caption underneath was. Like the Manly Seagulls were tagged and they were shaking hands with the Roosters, and then under it was like it's only the last 2 that count anyway. So it's like, yeah, fuck off. But yeah, he scored his 100th try in the NRL. But Roosters look all right. Like it's hard to. They've got like Victor Radley being back. I think is huge for the program. And Spencer Leniu didn't have the greatest of games. Made a few mistakes, but he seemed all right.
He had something, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly had something. But I think this was. The next 2 games, the Sunday was maybe one of the most unexpected but yet entertaining Sundays of football that has happened in a long time. So if anyone saw the Titans absolutely smashing the Eels, fair play.
When you look at this a little bit more, like, fair enough, everyone should have picked the Titans because the amount of injuries the Eels have had.
Yes. And I did tip the Titans.
Yes, exactly. And I don't think it was that much of a shock.
Nah.
When you add up everyone that is injured at the Eels. But you know what? I didn't see it being that much of a blowout though.
Nah, they were just carving them apart for fun as well. Like Keanu Kinney was just getting meters on meters, and I think he came out after, like he had a shocker last week.
Yeah,
I think it was dropping quite a lot, bit of confidence dented, and then this week he's just come out and said, or just proved everyone wrong, and he's just devastating. Like there's a reason why he's New Zealand's starting fullback.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty good. He's just in a bit like an under par team, undercooked team, but it shows they've got the
class.
They've got the weapons. It's just putting it together, but the Eels are in disarray.
Yeah, I think they're.
Yeah, but they play Manly next week at home. Like it's a guaranteed victory for the Eels.
They'll have like 90 offloads and score 30 tries or something daft like that. And I heard on the radio earlier out there, like they've got all their scouts out and
trying to look for players.
They've got agents phoning about their clients and stuff like that.
Is this a kickback of the like Zach Lomax debacle?
Yeah.
Like they've let a weapon go. Like Josh Adokar is aging, he's fast, but imagine if you one on each wing, then Mitchell Moses actually has weapons either side.
Yeah.
And it adds to it like, yeah, all right, they've had a few head knocks, but at one point I swear Mitch Moses was just going to give up just before half time. I remember seeing him, they got a penalty and they kicked it out, and they just took the tap and ran down the sideline. He's standing there with his arms in the air like, what is going on? So I think he's struggling a bit, but yeah, you watch next week. They'll turn up. They'll turn up against Manly and absolutely smash them. But the other game that finished off the weekend said this was going to be a ball game, and it was an absolute ball game.
How good are the Tigers?
But did not see the Tigers sticking as many points as they scored on the Knights. Taruva scoring a hat trick.
Yeah.
Tigers are top of the ladder.
Oh, he had a great interview after.
Yeah,
he did have a great. He had a great. He's always a character whenever he's interviewed, isn't he? Having a chat with old Milky.
Yeah, he took his spot, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's just there having a laugh. But Tigers have got a bit of decision making this weekend. Jerome Luai's been named. Jock Madden's in at 14. But how do you get Dewey, Madden, and Luai?
Do you move Dewey back to the centres?
I don't know. It's a difficult one. But they've got they've got an abundance of weapons now.
I know they do, and it's. I think this is what the Tigers were expecting. The Tigers were expecting last season.
Yeah,
with everyone joining, But Benji's worked with them last season. Obviously, had a great preseason with them, and it's not. This is probably an absolute rogue comment to say, but it's very Panthers-esque with the next man up mentality.
Yeah,
which is sort of shown just at the start of this season, especially when you're coming in to replace such an influence like Luai. They're starting to have that dog of next person up. Let's keep it going.
Just strengthens their bench as well, right? Because if they need to switch anything up or change anything,
bring him on.
They've had Madden that's played 3-4 games now, can bring him on, get into the role, move someone somewhere, like you say, Dewey out to the centers, or even someone go to 9, but you don't replace Coruscant. So they've got options. They've got a lot of options. Kai Pearce-Paul's
he's such a good signing.
He's such a big physical.
Buller, Macasini, like they've had such a Taruva scored a hat trick from center.
Yeah,
which is wild. But they have just got dogs, absolute dog and mongrel in them.
This performance from the Knights is exactly what I expected them to play like week in, week out. Yeah. Once Ponga and Brown went down, I was like, right, this is what we're going to see. Everyone will manage to roll them over, especially after they lost Bradman Best as well. So I think they've done well to hold it together up until this point. Brown's back this weekend, so it'd be interesting to see how they go. But yeah, Tigers sitting second in the ladder is absolutely nuts. And let's have a little scout on what they're paying to win the lot.
I think it was like $40. I think it's only 21.
$21 to win it. That's not that bad, you know. But yeah, good weekend of football. I look at this week that's coming up, and I think we've got some mismatches in this week's fixtures. So let's get into them. Thursday night, we're at the Queensland Country Bank Stadium. We've got the $1.59 North Queensland Cowboys against the $2.36 Manly Sea Eagles.
Manly Sea Eagles, three on the bounce.
On the bounce.
Just gonna go up to Queensland and just tuck them in again.
Just tuck them in. I read something earlier that we haven't lost up in Townsville in a while.
Yeah, but we 2016 was the last time we lost, but we also don't win down down in Wollongong, so things are just going to change over, aren't they? Really,
and records are there to be broken, right?
Yeah, let's keep it going.
So there's 2 records, or a few records. Us not losing up in Townsville, Cowboys 3 on the bounce. One of them's got to end.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure which one, but I'm going to tip that it's going to be the Manly Sea Eagles that win.
Yeah,
interesting team selections on this one. Like Takiaho's back on the interchange. Obviously, calf muscle, you can't just put him in from the start, especially with how Hetherington and Paseka have gone. Really interested to see the fact that Nathan Brown's been named and Leafi's on the bench.
Well, unless, like I say, there's some restrictions around how many games Leafi can play.
Yeah, very true.
But no.
Bit disappointed with that. Yeah. Nathan Brown's been a bit of I love him for what he does, back fence Brownie. But when it comes to the penalties and, I don't know, just being undersized as a forward in the modern game, we'll see how it goes.
And that takes us to the Friday 6 o'clock kickoff at the Geo Stadium in Canberra. You've got the $2.14 Canberra Raiders against the $1.71 Melbourne Storm.
I wouldn't say it was... I don't know. I wouldn't say $1.71 Storm. This is a difficult one to tip. Raiders, high-scoring game, didn't look great defensively. Storm looking really vulnerable, not looking like it's clicking. Purely for the fact this is at home, I'm going to go for the Raiders.
I'm going to go for the Raiders as well because of the pace that they have and what they can do. I think the Storm's defense look a little bit more vulnerable, but I wouldn't put it past like Harry Grant nicking a couple of wonder tries or something like that as well.
Yeah. And then an interesting one, Friday, 8 o'clock kickoff. We go up to Darwin with the Dolphins, $4.90 against the Panthers, $1.18.
And it's going to be the $1.18 team that are going to win this. Unfortunately, Dolphins come back off the bye. They were on the bye last week. I think old Ivan would have had an absolute rollicking to the Panthers.
Liam Martin out with MCL though.
I don't really see that much that doesn't really make much of a difference. So I'm gonna go for the Panthers, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on that one. Seeing the game up in Darwin reminds me of my time when I used to go up there for work. I was once up there when the Eels played the Dolphins, I believe. But there we go. I'm going for the Panthers.
And then that takes us into the Saturday 3:00 kickoff at the Go Media Stadium in Auckland. We've got the Warriors at $1.31 against the Titans at $3.46.
Interesting one, this. Few back for the Warriors. Chance, Kurt Capewell, Barnett's named. See how his thumb goes. Yeah, Warriors at home. I was just
about to say, you got to up the wires. You've got to up the wires at home.
Warriors at home.
The Titans put up a good shift last week, but I think I don't see them really being able to back it up against a very strong and flying wires team at the moment.
I agree. And then we go to the Accor. We've got the South Sydney Rabbitohs at $1.22 against the St. George Illawarra Dragons at $4.30.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be another loss for the Dragons, and I'm gonna go the Rabbitohs.
I reckon the Rabbitohs absolutely carve them apart.
Yeah,
I reckon this could be Shane. I reckon this could be Shane Flanagan's last game.
Yeah,
it's difficult to turn around what he's got. Like I look at the names coming back in for the Dragons. There's nothing much that they can do.
No.
With the squad that they got, Rabbitohs by a shed load.
Yeah, I think they'll lose this, and probably Roosters, and then when they go into the bye, maybe goodbye to old Shaney Flanagan.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Anyway, that takes us into the last game on the Saturday at the Campbelltown Sports Stadium. We've got the West Tigers, who are second, at $1.52 against the Brisbane Broncos, sat in 11th at $2.52.
The West Tigers' next four fixtures are like Broncos, Roosters, Storm, and I can't remember the fourth team. I actually reckon they could beat them all.
So do I.
I think there's a big chance that the Tigers could be sitting pretty in like second in going into Magic Round. Who'd they play at Magic Round?
Manly.
Great. So in this one, because Taylor May's back and he was big in the centres for them, like aggressive. Luai's back. Laulili's back from his suspension, I believe it was. Yeah. Tigers. Reynolds back, but I reckon his hamstring's going.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the Tigers as well.
First game on a Sunday, we're at the Allianz. We've got the Sydney Roosters at $1.29 against the Newcastle Knights, $3.62.
Dylan Brown's back.
Yep. And that's it. They've lost Dylan Lucas because he got elbowed in the throat, fractured his throat cartilage. Tyson Frizzell, rib cartilage damage. They are down a few boys.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Roosters in this one.
I'm going to join you. I'm going to go for the Roosters.
And then finally, we are at the CommBank Stadium in Sydney with the $4.45 Parramatta Eels against the $1.21 Canberra Bankstown Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. I'm not going to say any more on this. I think the Eels are in a world of strife. Bulldogs. Yeah, so there we go. Round 7. Let's quickly touch on one thing, actually, that I thought at the end. Mm-hmm. Are Arsenal going to bottle the Premier League?
It's looking like it, isn't it? Oh, that is getting close. Like they play Man City this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
This weekend. Oh. If that lead then drops down to 3 points, I think they've then got to play like West Ham and like teams that are going to be fighting. So yeah, because Man City have got a game in hand playing Arsenal. So that
if they win it, they go above them on goal difference.
If they win both of them, yeah.
Which is mad. If Arsenal lose a league, this might be the biggest.
And Tottenham get relegated.
That's absolutely unreal. But I think it might be the biggest bottling of a league since Newcastle did it in 93.
I would love it if we beat them.
Exactly. Kevin Keegan giving it large and then they actually lose out in the league. Yeah. But yeah, when's that on this weekend, the Arsenal game? I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I don't know whether I'll get up and watch it unless it's the early kickoff. But yeah, that's it for another week. We're going to lock and load and we're going to watch the NRL, watch the Manly Seagulls beat the Cowboys on Thursday night, and we'll be back next week. So hit that like button, subscribe. Thanks for following along, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you later.